It's all yours.
I'm Addy. I work for Belkin. I've been with them for about 2 years, actually just over 2 years. I look after Belkin's distribution partners, including Leader. So the purpose and the brief that I was originally given was to take you through Surge, but then I thought I'd do the right sales thing and sneak in a few other products and introduce you to Belkin. Has anyone not heard of Belkin? Phew, okay. Which makes the next couple of slides a bit painful, but hopefully you get something out of it. We started, like so many tech startups in America, out of a parent's garage. So Chet Pipkin is our founder, was the CEO of Belkin until December 21, where, oh, I'll back it up. In about 5 years ago, Foxconn, Fit, the company that make build iPhones, purchased Belkin. So in December 21, Chet Pipkin stepped down as CEO of Belkin and moved on to the board of Foxconn. Started in Chet's parents' garage building, well, he saw that there weren't quality cables to connect his PC to a printer, and that's where the journey started. Since then, obviously, our partnership with Apple is very close, but we also partner with the likes of Samsung, Google, etc. We sit on the board of the USB Implementers Forum, Thunderbolt, etc., etc. The key focus of Belkin from the printer cables is to basically meet the demand of what the market wants and provide a quality product. So you'll see that when we talk about, what do we do? We're the global leader in cables, connectivity, wireless charging. We partner, as I mentioned, Apple, Samsung. When I think about the Belkin overall company, we talk about human-inspired engineering. So it's that build a product. When we build a cable, we bend test it to 10,000 bends to make sure that it lasts. I gave the example of in the last session. Before I started at Belkin, I said, I need to go look for a job. What do? You buy a laptop. And I went and bought a Microsoft Surface, and I said, okay, like consumers do, regardless of how much I spend on a laptop, I'm going to try and save money on the cable. And I bought a couple of USB-C to HDMI cables, connected up the Surface dock, and it just wouldn't work. And I was getting frustrated, and I was blaming Microsoft, and it was looking at forums, and it's a common issue, it's a Microsoft problem. Anyway, so happened I started at Belkin, and when you start, it's like, okay, what products do we have that you want us to send out as part of your welcome onboarding? And I went, send me out some HDMI cables, USB-C to HDMI. And I went, okay, and they sent them out, and just by chance, I connected it to the dock, connected to the monitors, bang, it worked. After that, through powers of deduction, the challenge was that the cheap cables I bought supported 4K at 30, and the Surface dock needed 4K at 60. And just because the cables that I initially purchased weren't compatible, the entire setup was useless. And that's my long-winded way of saying that what you get with Belkin just works. When you pull it out of the box and plug it in, yes, you could argue that in some cases we're over-engineered, but the idea is that no matter what your solution is, you pull it out of the box, it works. To give you an idea, this is just the Apple partnership. We were mentioned in, we were one of the, 2 years ago we were the only company, and last year we were one of 2 companies that were actually mentioned in Apple keynotes. We build a lot of Apple first-party products. our relationship with Apple is very close. And when you talk about the Belkin product, whether it's anything, we don't take shortcuts. We don't bring it out to market unless it's certified. We talk about our chargers and PPS technology now that we've licensed from Samsung, whether it's power delivery, whether it's a USB IF, M5 certification for Lightning ports, whether it's Thunderbolt 3, Thunderbolt 4, USB 4, unless it's certified and 100% above the line, we won't launch it. And as I go through the presentation, you'll see why that's important. This is an interesting one. For my generation, I'm a 1980s kid, or 1980 singular kid. Being green is being when it's convenient. Definitely in the last couple of years, being green has become more and more important. And what I mean by that is people may not ask you directly about the environmental credentials, although more and more are now. But where and if you volunteer it, it becomes important. It's almost like people are too scared to ask. But if you tell them, it's like, oh, okay, you validated my purchasing decision or whatnot. In 2008, Belkin, as a business, signed up to the UN sustainability goals. And as you can see here, it basically meant that we went through a process of becoming completely carbon neutral. That's our goal. Our packaging as of this year is essentially plastic free, or PCR plastic free, which was a big thing for some of our retailers, where they, because of their commitments that they'd made to their board and shareholders, the products they purchased needed to also be in line with that. Our head office in El Segundo in California, in Los Angeles, is carbon neutral already. We're effectively off-grid. We generate enough solar and wind that we don't need to draw anything, and it actually offsets some of our factories and whatnot. To give you an idea where we're at, we've reduced electricity consumption globally by being smarter with our packaging. We've reduced waste, less water consumption, more trees. Because of our sustainability commitment, we're part of well, let's call forest regeneration programs, and critically, we've cut down oil consumption. So I'd like to think that we've done our part in keeping petrol prices down by 0.00001 cents a litre or something. The reason I bring it up, I wouldn't normally talk about it or harp on about it, is, as I said, it's become more and more important for the customer. And Belkin aside, it's one of those key things that people are not, they're not actively thinking about it, but if you bring it up, it really helps convince them and win them over. What do? We do everything from 15 centimeter patch cables all the way to secure KVMs that are used by 3-letter agencies around the world. In the consumer world, in order of volume, cables and charging probably number 1, device protection close number 2, and until I started at Belkin, I didn't realize how big the market was or why you'd need it. Number 3 is surge. Surge, particularly in mining, is massive because, as you can imagine, in mining, safety is the number 1 priority, as it should be. When we talk about car charging, we're clear market leaders, according to GfK data. Admittedly, car charging is a shrinking market, but and as we go through the presentation, I'll take you through why Belkin's still relevant and important in it. We do a whole range of adapters, you name the permutation, we probably have a solution. Docks and hubs, particularly in the current environment where there are supply constraints everywhere, we've seen our docks and hubs market grow exponentially. Before I go into a little bit more tech and detail, the purpose of this is, I don't think it'll take the full hour that has been scheduled. I'd like it to be as interactive, and feel free to stop me, ask me questions whenever you want. And I'll probably ask you a few questions at the end, because one of the few things, well, not a few things, one of the things that I can really say hand on heart I'm proud of at Belkin is we take on feedback, not just end user, but customer feedback, to find out what the market wants, and we then go and create products. And I'll show you a few products that are a direct result of that. So before I go on, any questions, thoughts? No. Cool. So surge protection. Why is it important? And I don't think I need to tell you guys what it is. Hopefully, no? Cool. So what does Belkin offer? All our surge protection is the complete 3-line surge protection. We obviously protect against surges, spikes, fluctuations, and we have surge protection dual rating. The key call out for us is all our surge protectors have metal oxide varistors. I'm guessing, because I sure as hell didn't know what they were before I built this deck. They're like a ceramic shield which absorbs excess electricity or current and makes it into heat. So it cleans up the flow of electricity. So it's not only a cleaner wave, but it also protects against surge and spikes. Unlike a lot of surge that's available in the market that do oversize metal varistors at this point, Belkins do it at every outlet individually. So that's one of the big things why Belkin surge is the preferred surge in mining, as an example. We've been building surge since 1985 around the world. We do everything. The packaging is, as I mentioned, environmentally friendly. It's easy. It's aesthetic. Our surge boards, for what they actually are, I think, and please tell me if I'm wrong, are probably, when it comes to the actual surge protection, are one of the most aesthetically pleasing surge boards around. Most of the competition that I've seen that do proper surge protection are very industrial, not the sort of thing that you'd want bang in front of a TV or next to your TV at home. I'll come back to connected equipment warranty as an example of just when we launch something, we do something well, is I know it's USB-A and it's old now, and USB-C is coming hopefully next year, but we use 2.4 amp USB-A ports, which provides a higher output of power, so your devices that you connect directly to USB-A that are able to draw more power can. So it supports a faster charging than your standard 12-watt USB-A port. Connected equipment warranty. Do we know what that is? Yes, no? It's something that is across a lot of Belkin's range. For those who don't know what it is, it's basically peace of mind for the end user that if they plug in or wirelessly connect their phone, TV, laptop, etc. to a Belkin product, and it gets impacted by a surge spike in the case of surge boards or voltage fluctuations, etc. Anything from $2,500 worth of equipment all the way to, in some cases, $125,000 worth of equipment, Belkin will cut you a check. It is, and I'll go into the process a little bit better, but it is relatively painless. As I mentioned, all our products have a common design language, so, and we stick to that. So when we design a product, it looks nice. And as I also mentioned at the start, we don't deliver a product or launch a product unless it's certified by everyone that it needs to be, and we've tested it to its nth degree, whether it be 10, 15,000 bend test on cables. Just to go through, like this is just, I'm just touching on a couple of products. Our surge protectors start at an economy level, so they come in 4 and 6 port variants. 4-port surge, it feels like a quality product when you see it. It's got a $24.95 RRP, 2-year warranty, heavy duty cables, etc., etc. It's your entry level surge protector. When we talk about our Surge Plus range, there are 2 parallel SKUs, one without USB ports, which come in 4 and 6 port models, and then there are ones with USB ports that come in 4, 6 and 8 port models. As you can see here, the 8 port model comes with a 50K customer equipment warranty. So as you know, we're not saying here's an 8 port, but we're still going to give you 2.5K warranty. The idea is that you're clearly connecting more devices that are going to be considerably more expensive, TVs, etc., and the warranty goes up with it. For those who've seen it, and feel free to come and have a look, it is a quality looking product. It looks and feels proper. It is also wall mountable, and just little things like a little cavity to loop the cable through, etc., etc. It's the small things that just make the product that much more appealing to the customer. Any questions around Surge? Oh, okay. So again, key 3 call-outs. The metal oxide varistors absorb excess energy. Not so relevant in Melbourne particularly, Sydney to an extent, but definitely globally in countries that don't have a stable power supply. It's the filtration of dirty energy into clean energy to prolong the life of your electronic products. And the third point for us is, 3-line protection, not just your standard 2 power points. That's pretty much Surge. So without further ado, I'll just quickly touch on a couple of the rest of the range. So Belkin Power, or mobile power as we call it internally, we're pushing boundaries, looking at where tech is going and building tech to that. Our 30-watt charger is an example of, we knew or heard the rumors that the recently launched iPhone was going to support 30-watt charging. So we created a 30-watt charger, and it's been out for about 9 months, which is a little bit longer than the iPhone, that supports 30-watt charging. We certify, or we buy the license for power delivery and PPS from Apple and Samsung, so that we support fast charging, or what Samsung call super or ultra fast charging, from the one device. To my knowledge, we're the only company that makes chargers that support fast charge for both the top 2 brands. We build a quality product. I think, and yes, I'm biased, but I think justifiably, our products are quality. I don't think when you look at a Belkin product, whether you buy it or not, your questions are probably more around, is it worth it for that price? It's not, is it quality? And finally, connected equipment warranty for power. So again, we have so many products that I could literally put you all to sleep with a PowerPoint presentation, and I'm trying not to, and that's why I'm trying to just give you a touch on what products we make. In the world of car power, this is probably the most popular model that we have. It's a USB, not really clear, but there's USB-A and a USB-C port. It's a 37 watt charger, so it supports fast charge for Samsung, fast charge for Apple because of the PPS and PD tech. It looks slick, so when it goes into your cigarette adapter socket, it's only that bit that sticks out. So you can, if you've got a little cap that covers it, you can do that in most cases. The light is unobtrusive, but when you look at it, it's there. I don't know what the science was, but you know, we had a team that worked on lighting so that it was visible but not glaring. So when you're driving at night, it's not distracting, but when you look at it, you can see it. When we look at cars at the moment, yes, USB-A ports have been around for a while. USB-C ports are becoming more and more commonplace in cars. But the key thing for me is that in when we talk about native USB ports, then car manufacturers aren't licensing PD and PPS tech from Apple and Samsung. So their speed to charge is not what you get out of this. It's a lot faster. So where you've got customers who need that quick burst of charge to get their devices back up and running, this is a no-brainer. I wouldn't even bother plugging it into a car or into a standard USB port in a car. Power, we have everything and anything. This is your entry level, 20 bucks, 12 watt USB-A charger. For whatever reason, people are still just picking this up off the shelf and it's just cheap and nasty. Next one here, this is probably what I'd recommend as a standard for anyone who buys a phone today, because they don't come with charging blocks anymore. It's a 30 watt USB-C power delivery PPS wall charger. It basically means that you plug in your Samsung, your iPhone, your Google, you're going to get the fastest possible charge regardless of what phone you have. If you have an iPhone that now takes 27.5, it works. Whether you have a Samsung that takes 25, it works, etc., etc. This is a relatively new product. It is my new favorite. And when we talk about using technology and creating new innovative products, this is a 65 watt GaN charger. Have we heard about GaN? Gallium nitrate? Okay. So GaN is a chemical that's been used, it's a substance that's been used in circuit boards and anything sort of tech at a micro level because of its properties and ability to dissipate heat. Belkin were the first to use GaN in wall charging. What that means for an average customer is you get more power out of the charger. So this one supports 65 watts in a charger that's 2/3 the size of this. Again, because of where Belkin is, it supports 65 watts to charge a laptop or your Chromebook or whatnot. It supports 45 watt ultra fast charge for some Samsung S devices. It supports super fast charge in everything else, and it supports power delivery. Basically means you can connect your laptop and your phone and you're good to go in a small plug. So instead of having to carry around your big bulky laptop charger and whatnot, that's easy to pack and go. This used to be my favorite device. It's 108 watt GaN, this thing here. 108 watts through 2 USB-C ports, 2 USB-A ports. It is my solution for work. As you can see, I plug it in, my phone, my laptop, tablet, headphones, everything charges at once. I don't need to carry a separate laptop charging brick, a separate iPhone, etc., etc., etc. Still 2.5K customer equipment warranty or connected equipment warranty. Great product. wireless charging it's really gaining momentum nowadays, especially after iPhone 12 and MagSafe. It started to gain more and more momentum as it's become more commonplace. We do standard Qi charging, like these ones just here, and then we also do MagSafe charging. So this one here is the 3-in-1. We also have a 2-in-1, which does a phone and AirPods. It uses, like I said before, like when Belkin launched something, it's done with all the certifications, where in Australia, well, definitely in 2022, we're the only ones that have a made for MagSafe product. I know this because we've purchased all the made for MagSafe pucks from Apple. There were no more in the market. Why is it important? Before I go into that, have we heard about MagSafe and what it is and what it does? Yeah, so basically it's like Qi charging with magnet arrays, so you get perfect alignment and you actually don't have the hassle of, I don't know if any of you have been using wireless charging and have been caught out by it like I have. Put your phone on the charger overnight, wake up in the morning, it's not charged because it hasn't been aligned. MagSafe essentially, because of the magnets, you get perfect alignment, don't have that stress. Made for MagSafe, to get this badge, you need to buy the pucks that go behind that and behind that from Apple. Why is that important from a consumer speak, and why are you paying the Apple tax for it? Because if you're not made for MagSafe, you only get Qi charging, 7.5 watts, whereas if you use made for MagSafe products from Apple, you get 15-watt wireless charging. That's the big difference. So you'll see a lot of products in the market that say MagSafe or MagSafe compatible. It's all they've done is use Qi charging with their own magnets, which basically give you the 7.5 watt charge, but aren't really the optimal solution for charging. Question from the last group. It's Apple Watch only, so those who have Samsung watches, bit of bad news, Samsung won't give out their watch charging tech to anyone. So if you have a Samsung watch, you're stuck with Samsung chargers, at least for the foreseeable future. That's a standard Qi charger, so any headphone case or any device that supports standard Qi charging will charge from that. The 2-in-1, if you don't have an Apple Watch, is just the headphones and the phone charger. Any questions? I'm conscious I'm just rushing through. No. So just going back to connected equipment warranty, and when I say it is pain-free, it's very easy. There's a 1300 number that the customer calls, that goes to a call center in the Philippines. They grab details, send them globally to whichever region the customer purchased from. So in our case, Australia. Calls are taken in the Belkin head office in Tuggerah, central coast of New South Wales. And literally in 98% of cases, it goes from here to here. The claims are so few. Like this calendar year, how many claims do you think we had? Ballpark, to the nearest 10.
50.
Close. 42. And when you think that's across chargers, wireless chargers, surge boards, car power, it's insignificant. That's what I mean, like we literally go bang. There are maybe 2% of cases where unfortunately people do try to work around the system, let's put it, where we do say we're going to send out a Sparky to inspect the product or send the device back and we'll get it inspected. But that's 2%. There's an FAQ which I will share so you can have a look at it. But before I go ahead. Any questions around CW? Is it something that you guys use at the moment to actively win a customer over?
Yeah.
Cool. Finally, what are Belkin doing to make these products relevant? From a surge perspective, our focus in 2023 is to educate customers and customers outside of the standard surge market that we deal with. So if you're interested in surge and you know about it at the moment, you already know about Belkin. But how do we now tap into the market where layman customer is buying a TV and gets educated on why surge is important? That's coming, so you'll probably start seeing ATL, whether it be socials or reviews in like tech magazines and papers and stuff, from about March next year through the whole year. So hopefully that flow on helps sales here as more and more people know about Belkin and why surge is important. That's pretty much it from a presentation perspective. This is a couple of product slides, but I'd like to open it up to questions, and then I've got some questions for you. No? Anything? Silence is golden? Good. Then let me ask you guys questions. The one really good thing about Belkin is we're proactive in garnering feedback, not just from end users, but from resellers. You guys are at the cold front of the market and knowing where the gaps are. A product like this, for example, was a direct result. I think it was about 9 months between idea to launch. We had IT resellers turn around and say, why customers are saying, I don't want to buy 1, 2, 3 different chargers, because most people now have a laptop, a phone as a minimum, usually a tablet, usually sometimes a watch or another device, battery pack that they want to charge. So instead of carrying multiple chargers around with them, why is there not one device that does it all? And we went away, and the original non-GaN version for 108 watts was significantly bigger. And then we went, that's not customer focused. How do we shrink the size? Cool, let's use GaN or gallium nitrate, and we're able to shrink the size down to this. 9 months from idea to product being created in factory. So my question to you guys is, more holistically, what does the market want? And more specifically, what are you hearing that customers are asking for that A, there isn't a Belkin product, or there isn't a product in the market?
You're an expert
Anyway, I was hoping for a nugget that I could take away and sell back to the business as my own, but no, it's okay. I'm keen to get the feedback. So if down the line, there is something, let me know. And if the market's big enough and it's something that Bell can produce globally, that it's just not in Australia, we can bring it in. The challenge of Australia is that we have very strong consumer protection and certifications, and when we talk about global products like a USB-C to C cable, no problems, because it's made on a global scale. The same cable you buy here, you're buying in Dubai. When you talk power, unfortunately, the market's limited to ANZ, maybe a couple other countries.
Now, I thought, we do inductive chargers, like iPort, something you're probably familiar with iPort, but obviously price point, but like Belkin wouldn't do anything like an inductive charger or something to that extent?
Not at this stage,
At the right I mean, at that price point, obviously.
there's a few things that I'm happy to share an insight into what we're working on when I'm not on camera. There's like we're talking about distance wireless charging. We're talking about wireless charging of laptops, so building it into a dock.
Exactly.
So there's stuff that's in the works that those of you that may be subscribed to tech sites may have heard a few people in America get in trouble for sharing publicly, and I don't want to get in trouble. So,
well, we know what Chris lives.
so like, there's stuff that we're working on, but in some cases, we work on it, we test it, we bring it to market before Australia's ready for it. Like there's Thunderbolt 4 docks coming in January, as an example. I don't think Australia's ready for Thunderbolt 4, outside of a couple of niche people, but because we've tested it globally, we're bringing it in, and we'll be way ahead of the market when it comes to Thunderbolt 4. There's other things that Australia's quite receptive to, but you won't see the Belkin product come out immediately because we're still testing. We won't launch a product until we're happy with it. That's just the reality of it. So I'm happy. Like when we talk about charging, especially when we put our name to charging, because of the customer equipment warranty, because of the brand equity we have in that space, it's not something we'll ever risk. But happy to take on feedback, happy to pass it on, and get our global teams to start scoping it out.
And docs of audio out as well, because we do a lot of commercial work, and they want audio out, but to charge as well, of course. So
yeah, all our docs do.
Yeah,
they're 3.5, and they support USB-C, etc. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. I will, whether it's through Sunny or whatnot, I'm available 24/7. You have questions, I'm going to have a couple of conversations, all of you, whoever wants to. I'm in no rush. All the meetings that I avoided this morning are done. So happy to take on questions, feedback, have a chat. From a radio parts perspective, I'm keen to support you guys in store with customers, etc., however you need. I'm keen to get feedback from you and make Belkin easy. That's my goal. Like, I can't control the price. I can't control the quality of the product because it's there. What I can do is help you guys explain it to a customer as to what's the Belkin difference. So, cool.
the products with cells, the people honestly like that.
And that's what I mean. Like, from a quality perspective, people know the Belkin brand. The challenge, and again, cards on the table. The challenge has always been $80, $50. Why am I spending $30 more? I know Belkin. I don't know these guys. Why? And that's the reality of it. We're not the cheapest, nor are we ever going to be. But are we in the ballpark? Absolutely we are. And that's where I rely on the help of everyone I work with to be able to explain that to a customer. Cool. Done. Thank you.
Thanks.